Now, I'm going to tell you as an attorney, 9 times out of 10, when somebody says, and this is sometimes my clients, my client or the other side, they'll say, it's not about the money. 9 times out of 10, it's about the money. Okay, it's about the money. Hey everyone, this is Isaac Shutt, your favorite wills and estates attorney. This legal article actually does involve an estate, and more specifically, it involves our old pal OJ Simpson. It actually relates to the alleged murder case involving Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. So the big OJ trial that happened years ago, I think what you need to keep in mind is that there were actually two cases. You had the civil case and you had the criminal case. The criminal case that, where eventually he got acquitted, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, with the glove and all that kind of stuff. That was the criminal case, okay? But there was also a civil case. And a civil case is where the alleged victim, or the victim's family in this case, can pursue money damages. So what you might not have remembered is that there was a companion civil case against OJ Simpson, and the civil case was successful. So we don't call that a conviction. That's only a criminal thing. But in the civil case, you have a plaintiff and defendant, and in this case, OJ being the defendant lost, and the plaintiff was the family of the victims, Nicole and Ron. So you've got these families of Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson who had successful money judgments against OJ Simpson from all those years ago. But the thing is, OJ didn't exactly have all the money to pay that judgment, and he was busy being in prison and stuff like that. He didn't have all the money to pay it. So this article is about what happens now that OJ has passed away. Will these families now be able to collect? So here I am, I'm reading this article. This article says that Ron Goldman's father has filed a creditor's claim against OJ Simpson's estate seeking $117 million, according to documents filed Thursday in Nevada. So Brown Simpson, who was 35, Goldman 25, were found stabbed to death outside the residence in Los Angeles in 1994. And allegedly on June 13th of 1994, Ron Goldman was returning sunglasses that Nicole Brown Simpson's mother had left at a restaurant where he worked. Then the two, meaning Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, were stabbed and slashed dozens of times, and their bodies were found the next day. What came afterward, according to the article, has been dubbed the trial of the century, which elicited mixed feelings from the public. Simpson, meaning OJ Simpson, was eventually acquitted. And in April, OJ Simpson died of cancer. So this $117 million claim, since this is now being filed after OJ Simpson has passed away, this is filed in the Clark County District Court in connection with the wrongful death suit brought by Goldman's parents, Fred and Sharon. The wrongful death suit was back in 1997. Okay, and the civil, not the criminal, the civil jury found that OJ Simpson was quote unquote responsible for the homicide of his ex-wife and for Ron Goldman. That civil jury found that OJ Simpson was responsible to pay millions of dollars in damages. But like I said a minute ago, OJ didn't, for whatever reason, probably because he didn't have the money, he didn't pay all of the money that the civil jury awarded to the family. So, according to Fred Goldman's claim, that's Ron Goldman's surviving dad, the total amount owed to Fred Goldman by Simpson's estate is $117 million, $41,675.27. Now, there are some interesting legal tidbits in here because you might think to yourself, well, wait a minute, Isaac, that was back in 1997. If it hasn't been paid for all of these years, isn't there a statute of limitations? Well, I'm not really familiar with California law, but I can tell you here in Texas, you have to revive a money judgment, which means that every so often if you have a money judgment against somebody, like you were successful in a civil jury trial or something like that, but the defendant says, hey, I don't gots it, I can't pay you that money because I don't gots it. Well, you can kind of say, well, we'll just wait around till you do gots it. And in this case, it appears what happened. Fred Goldman was entitled to all of this money way back in 1997. OJ Simpson says, hey, I don't gots it. And Fred Goldman says, okay, I'll wait around till you do gots it. And so he revived that judgment in the California court 3 times. So in 2006, 2015, and again in 2022, he revived or renewed his judgment. And it's interesting because this whole time when you revive or renew a money judgment, you're accruing interest, which that kind of makes sense because the dollar value goes down just with inflation and stuff like that. So you want your money judgment to not lose value just through the lapse of time. So in this case, what you see here, that the original money judgment was only $96.3 million, but now we're tacking on $20.6 million. And the claim that has been filed by Fred Goldman against the OJ Simpson estate says, and by the way, there is a daily interest rate accruing of an additional $26,402. So every day it's not paid, you just add more onto the tab, the claim says. He's only managed to collect only a little share of the tens of millions of dollars that OJ Simpson was ordered to pay by that jury. This is a quote of Fred Goldman. He says, it wasn't about the money, it was about justice. Now, I'm going to tell you as an attorney, 9 times out of 10, when somebody says, and this is sometimes my clients, my client or the other side, they'll say, it's not about the money. 9 times out of 10, it's about the money. Okay, it's about the money. And I think when we saw the trial of the century, the public got to see, as much of the truth as they were going to see. And so this is about the money. It's not about, a platform to show the truth or things like that, because we had the trial of the century that was aired all over TV. At this point, what else could it be about other than the money? And by the way, I don't think that's a bad thing. Our legal systems exist for a reason, and sometimes that reason is to get money, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think we should, throw dirt on Fred Goldman for wanting to get the money. But again, this is a saying that we hear all the time. Well, it's not about the money. Well, it probably is at least a little bit about the money, and that's okay. Fred does a little bit of, patting himself on the back here. This is another quote at the tail end of this article. Fred Goldman says, the only thing I have to say is it's just further reminder of Ron being gone all these years. It's no great loss to the world. I believe he's meaning the loss of OJ Simpson. He says it's no great loss to the world. It's a further reminder of Ron's being gone. So again, if he was really worried about Ron being gone and all of this kind of being drudged up again, I don't think he would probably file the claim for money in court. So it probably is a little bit about the money. And that, again, that's totally okay. But I think this is a really interesting estate case because you're seeing some interesting things at play, that there was a civil judgment that needed to be revived and can still be collected upon even after the defendant's death through a creditor claim, much the same way that a Citi card or Visa would file a claim against an estate. That's what Ron Goldman's dad has done here. He's filed his claim, just like a credit card claim, against OJ Simpson's estate. Now, I don't know if OJ Simpson's estate has the money to pay this, or what the response from the estate will be, if they're going to try to fight it or what, but the claim has been filed, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.